The sun rises over San Diego with the same warmth it offers every morning, casting golden light across the Pacific, the palm-lined streets, the quiet neighborhoods, and the busy downtown corridors. To many, this city is a postcard of endless summer, ocean breezes, and opportunity. But beneath the calm surface, beyond the beaches and cafes, thousands of people wake up with no place to call home. Their mornings begin not with alarms, but with the sound of traffic, footsteps, and the constant question of where to go next. In San Diego, homelessness exists in plain sight and yet remains largely unseen. It lives in canyons, under freeway overpasses, behind shopping centers, along riverbeds, and in the shadows of neighborhoods built on prosperity. This is not a single story. It is a collection of lives, each shaped by different circumstances, choices, losses, and systems that failed to catch them before they fell. As the city wakes, some people pack up sleeping bags from sidewalks before businesses open. Others emerge slowly from tents hidden among brush and concrete. A few sit still, letting the morning pass, conserving energy for a day that will demand more than it gives. The coastal air may be mild, but life on the streets is never easy. Even here, where the climate is forgiving compared to other cities, survival is a daily struggle. San Diego's homelessness crisis is shaped by many forces, but housing is at the center. Rents have risen steadily for years, outpacing wages and pushing low-income residents to the edge. A single missed paycheck, a medical emergency, or a sudden rent increase can be enough to force someone out. For many, once they lose housing, the climb back becomes nearly impossible. Some people experiencing homelessness in San Diego once had stable jobs and families. Others grew up in foster care or unstable homes. Veterans carry memories of service that never truly ended. People with untreated mental health conditions navigate a world that is loud, confusing, and often hostile. Addiction weaves through many stories, sometimes as a cause, sometimes as a coping mechanism, sometimes as both. In downtown neighborhoods like East Village, the contrast is stark. Luxury apartments rise just steps away from crowded sidewalks where people sit with their belongings in shopping carts or backpacks. This closeness creates tension. Residents complain. Businesses struggle. The unhoused are blamed for visible discomfort, while their deeper needs remain unmet. Everyone feels the pressure, but not everyone feels the pain in the same way. For those living without shelter, daily life is a series of calculations. Where can I sleep tonight without being moved? Where can I find water? Is there a place to charge a phone? Will my belongings still be here when I return? These questions repeat every day, wearing down both body and spirit. The constant instability makes long-term planning almost impossible. San Diego's geography shapes where homelessness exists. Canyons become makeshift communities, hidden from view but exposed to danger. Floods during winter rains can wash away tents and belongings in minutes. Wild animals, unstable ground, and isolation add risks most people never have to consider. Yet for some, these areas feel safer than busy streets where harassment and police encounters are more frequent. The riverbeds tell their own story. Along stretches of concrete and brush, camps form and dissolve, forming fragile networks of people who look out for one another when they can. There are unspoken rules, shared warnings, and occasional acts of kindness. But there is also theft, conflict, and fear. Living outside strips away privacy, dignity, and the sense of control many take for granted. Healthcare becomes a major challenge. Without regular access to doctors, small injuries turn into serious infections. Chronic conditions go untreated. Mental health crises escalate without intervention. Emergency rooms become the default option, expensive and temporary solutions to long-term problems. The cycle repeats, costing both lives and public resources. For women experiencing homelessness, the dangers multiply. Many avoid shelters out of fear of assault. Some stay in abusive relationships because the alternative feels worse. Hygiene, safety, and health become constant concerns. Pregnancy, menstruation, and illness are navigated without stability or privacy, turning basic human needs into daily obstacles. Youth homelessness in San Diego is another quiet emergency. Young people who age out of foster care, flee unsafe homes, or are rejected by their families often end up on the streets with little support. Their vulnerability makes them targets for exploitation. Without early intervention, many will remain trapped in homelessness for years. Veterans make up a visible portion of the unhoused population. Some returned from service carrying trauma that never received proper care. Others struggled to reintegrate into civilian life. The promise of support did not always match reality. For them, homelessness feels like a final betrayal after years of sacrifice. Shelters exist throughout San Diego, but they are not a complete solution. Beds are limited. Rules can be strict. Some require sobriety or identification that people no longer have. Others separate couples or turn away pets, forcing impossible choices. For many, shelters feel unsafe, crowded, or dehumanizing, leading them to stay outside despite the risks. Outreach workers walk the streets every day, building trust one conversation at a time. Their work is slow, patient, and emotionally heavy. They offer water, food, medical care, and referrals. They listen. Sometimes they are the only consistent human connection someone has. Progress can take months or years, and setbacks are common. Law enforcement is often placed at the front line of a problem rooted in poverty and housing shortages. Encampment sweeps move people from one location to another, rarely providing permanent solutions. Belongings are lost. Trust erodes. The city looks cleaner for a moment, but the underlying issues remain untouched. Public frustration grows as homelessness becomes more visible. Residents demand action. Politicians debate solutions. Budgets are allocated, reallocated, and argued over. Emergency declarations come and go. But for those on the streets, time moves differently. Every delay is another night outside, another missed opportunity to stabilize. Despite the hardship, moments of humanity persist. A shared meal, a stranger offering socks or water, someone watching another person's belongings for a few minutes. These small acts matter more than they seem. They remind people that they still exist, that they are still seen. The idea that homelessness is a choice oversimplifies a complex reality. Choices are shaped by circumstances, resources, and opportunities. When affordable housing disappears, when healthcare is inaccessible, when wages stagnate, choices narrow, blame becomes easy, understanding takes effort. San Diego's mild weather often masks the severity of homelessness. There are no frozen nights like in northern cities, but exposure still kills. Heat, dehydration, and illness take lives quietly. Deaths often go unnoticed, recorded only in statistics, not in headlines. For those trying to escape homelessness, the barriers are immense. Without an address, getting a job is harder. Without a job, housing is unreachable. Without housing, stability is impossible. Each requirement depends on the one before it, creating a loop that traps people in place. Housing First programs show promise, providing stable shelter before addressing other issues like addiction or mental health. When people have a door that locks, a bed, and a bathroom, everything else becomes more manageable. But these programs require funding, political will, and community support that are often inconsistent. San Diego is a city of contradictions. Wealth and poverty exist side by side. Tourists photograph sunsets while others search for somewhere safe to sleep. The beauty of the city does not erase its responsibility. A place can be both desirable and deeply unequal at the same time. As night falls, the city changes again. Streets quiet, security lights click on. For many housed residents, the day ends. For those without homes, the most dangerous hours begin. Where can I sleep tonight? Will I be safe? Will I be moved? These questions return with the darkness. Some people talk to the ocean at night, listening to waves as a reminder of something constant. Others stare at the city lights, wondering how close help really is. Hope flickers, dims, and sometimes disappears, but it rarely dies completely. Homelessness in San Diego is not just a statistic or a policy debate. It is a human crisis unfolding every day in one of America's most admired cities. It challenges the idea of who belongs and who is protected. It asks uncomfortable questions about priorities, compassion, and responsibility. The solutions are not simple, and there is no single fix. But the reality is clear. As long as housing remains out of reach, as long as support systems are fragmented, and as long as people are treated as problems instead of neighbors, the crisis will continue. When the sun rises again over San Diego, the city will look the same to most people. But for thousands, it will be another day of survival in a place that promises paradise yet delivers hardship. Their stories continue, quietly, persistently, waiting not just to be told, but to be answered.